What's up? I'm the Empathetic Chicken, and today I'm gonna try a pick a card reading, and the message is gonna be about what lies your inner critic are telling you. And I came up with a little spread, so we'll get into that. But we got pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. And so pile 1 is gonna be like this little ladybug thingy. Pile 2 is this little froggy. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. And then pile 3 is gonna be this little cat. Focus, man. Oh my god. There it is. Sorry. Alright. So pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. Take you a little minute. Ignore the little ants doing whatever they're doing. And pick your pile. Okay, pile 1, here's your cards, and I'm going to be using a spread that I came up with called Lies of Your Inner Critic. So this first card is going to be the lie, and this is going to be the truth, and this card is going to be the bridge between the lie and the truth, how to get from the lie to the truth. And then this is going to be how to tame your inner critic and a little encouragement, and then we'll get to these at the end. It's just going to be like a little theme, just a little something I'll read that might help you at the end. So yeah, for the lie, we have just breathe and injustice. And with this, I'm getting that maybe your inner critic is telling you that you can't really like get through this. Like you've been through a lot lately, and you're just really tired. And like you might feel like all you can really do is like breathe at this time because like you're just so exhausted, because it feels like there's always something going wrong. Like it just feels like the world is against you right now, is what I'm getting. And I feel like your inner critic is really like zeroing in on that, and you might be feeling a little bit defeated at this time and just like needing to rest. Like you might feel like there's nothing else you can do, like you don't have anything else to give. So yeah, that is probably the issue. You're just like spent. But the truth is, you might not be seeing things like completely clearly, because like right now you're sort of like in your little pain of the injustice that whatever has happened, you're not able to see beyond that right now, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. I think like, we gotta process things in our own timing. It's just like a matter of not letting like that inner critic kind of like freak out and just like, be screaming that little narrative to you of like, well, things are never gonna get better, like this is what I deserve, like I deserve this injustice, like, life's not fair, like nothing good ever happens to me. It's just like a balancing thing. And like even in this place, like you might be, like the truth is you might be overly identifying with that little like, I don't want to say like victim narrative, because I feel like there's a place for like processing our feelings. I don't ever want like the denial thing, like I don't think it's any better to deny your feelings, but also like in this position of the truth, I'm feeling like it's saying more so like don't deny that there's something beyond like the pain of the injustice that you experienced. Like that may be what your current reality might be, kind of like around the pain that you've been feeling, but it won't always be that way. And it's not like, it's not a true representation of like your value, or I don't think you deserved whatever this is talking about, like whatever thing happened. Even if maybe there were things that you could have done better or whatever, like, we're all human and we make mistakes and nobody's perfect. So like you don't need to dwell in, beat yourself up about it and like refusing to see that like there is more to the situation, like, than the pain. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's just what I'm getting. So I don't really know. Maybe you know, like, what you're kind of like needing to acknowledge at this time, and maybe it is like your pain. Like, maybe you're not wanting to like acknowledge it. Like, maybe that's what this is. Like, maybe you're just kind of like checking out and just not wanting to face it because it's easier that way. So you might be like, taking the time out, just being like, I'm gonna just block this out for now. Which, I mean, that might be necessary, but eventually I feel like you need to see the hurt of whatever has happened and let yourself process it. Like, it's not always fun, but, that's just what it is, just seeing it for what it is. So I guess how to get from the lie to the truth. I feel like with the sacral chakra and the loneliness, it's saying, I mean, I feel like that's kind of going with what I was saying about just acknowledging what you've been through and like connecting with yourself. Because, I mean, you might have felt like something, I don't know, like I'm looking at this little, how this person in this card is like dumping the water on that person's face. And so you might feel like somebody has like hurt you intentionally, and you just you don't understand, and you're like lonely because maybe you felt like you could trust that person, and then it just kind of all fell apart. So, like, I think with sacral chakra in this, it's saying to like connect more with yourself. And like, this is sort of about like creativity and that kind of energy. So, like, I think that can be a way that we can connect with ourselves and sort of like, that's it, oh my god, it's okay, I'm right here, my love. Sorry, the cat might be feeling a little lonely as well. But yeah, I don't know, just like finding things that you enjoy can kind of like combat this little loneliness, because like you're forming a bond with yourself, and then you're not like expecting other people to make you happy. Or, I mean, maybe you could not be as focused on what has happened, because you're doing things that you like. And so we're just forming a bond with yourself, because sometimes you're all you have, and ain't nothing wrong with it. Like, you can enjoy your own company just as much. Like, sometimes we just need a little reminder that, like, we need attention from ourselves too, Like, no one else can, like, fill the void as much as we want it. Like, we're always with us, so I think it's just as important to think of, like, the relationship with yourself in a similar way as you would, like, with anybody else who's important to you in your life. So yeah, I guess just allow yourself to feel what you're feeling. Try not to be in denial about it. Like, it happened. You got to go through the process of moving past it. Like, and I don't think that means like ignoring it. I think it just means like seeing it and processing it, and then being there for yourself in the process. And not like being so hung up on defining yourself by like whatever the experience was. Like, don't take it personally, like there's something that you did. I mean, unless there's something that you do need to acknowledge, like, just work on that. But like, what I guess is the source of, like, can you find the source of the hurt is what I'm getting. Like, was there, I don't know, I don't like calling people out, but I know, like, personally, a lot of times when I have issues with people, it all stems from, like, me and how I was feeling about myself. So maybe just take a look at that and see if maybe the issue was something that stemmed from your beliefs about yourself, which kind of leads into this card, or these two cards, which are about how to tame your inner critic, which kind of ties into this whole message here. We got believe and succeed and passion. And so, I mean, this is traditionally like the Six of Wands card in the tarot. So it's all about like victory after the battle and, you know, like confidence. Like the little guy's coming home on his little horse. He's getting like, you know, praise from the little village people. And so yeah, I think to tame your inner critic, like it might just need like a little bit of attention. Because I mean, it's really like that little forgotten part of you, or not really forgotten part, but like it's just like the part of you that needs, you know, something that it didn't get. So just like maybe give it a little bit of attention and look at how you're like thinking about yourself. Like you might be not in the best headspace, like, you know. So just take a look at that, and if it's not, like if you don't like what you see, just work on kind of giving yourself the thing that you feel like you don't have. And I know that's like complicated to understand sometimes, like when you're in the thick of like the pain of feeling neglected and all that. But really, like we got to be the source of our own happiness. Because I mean, this might sound bleak, but like, I feel like the world's always gonna let us down if we're like putting all our eggs in one basket. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be able to stand on your own. And that's not saying like it's wrong to want help or like want people to care. But it's just like they might not be able to show up in the way that you need, because they might not be able to show up for themselves either. So it's like nothing, I don't think anything's ever personal. So just kind of have more compassion for yourself and other people. And just remember that you need to prioritize yourself too. And like focus on what you enjoy. Like maybe there's something like with this little passion, maybe there's something that you've always enjoyed doing, but you don't give yourself time to do it. Like maybe now is like a time where you can do it, you know. You might need to like, you know, break the little inner child activities out. Yeah, so like a little message of encouragement. We got 4 joy and stability, which is like the 4 of Wands in tarot, and then we got envy. So yeah, I'm just getting, maybe instead of comparing yourself to other people, just focus on the things that you have that you can appreciate in your own life. I know that's not always easy, but yeah, just do your best to actually look at things that are going good for you. Like I know it's hard, like when you're kind of stuck in like all the injustice and all that has happened in your life. It's easy to have the little like bleak lens on, but like there always has to be like that balance. So like the opposite of that, like whatever you can find to like counterbalance the hurt. Just, you know, look at that, and don't feel like you gotta be like anybody else or you don't need anything that anyone else has to feel happy. Like it might seem that way just because of like the culture that we live in, but like the true happiness like comes from within. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, that's cheesy, cliche, but honestly, it's worth it to learn how to like cultivate that within yourself without, because like once you do that, you don't need anything else. Like that's the thing. It's like it won't matter who hurts you or what happens. Like you'll be good on your own. And I'm not saying like shut everybody out and just be like, I don't need nobody. Like it's not like that. It's just more so like a little trust in yourself, like knowing like, all right, I don't have to have these conditions met in order to be happy. It's just like cutting yourself some slack and like cutting other people slack, and just being more like open-minded and not putting so much like so many conditions on your own happiness. Because I mean, it is like a choice. I know it's hard because there's a lot of stuff to be unhappy about, but I think it's just about finding little things that are like accessible to be happy about, you know. I mean, right now I'm gonna just let you know I'm real happy about this little spider lily, because it makes me think of like the fall coming, and I love Halloween time. So that's a little example. Like there's like a little thing you can find. Like, you know, just focus on the little things and allow yourself to like be happy. Because I know that's another thing. It can be hard to let yourself be happy when you're so used to being miserable. So yeah, I'm just feeling like a shift needs to be looking back at like yourself and how you're thinking of yourself. And how can you like shift your focus to incorporate more like happiness. It's a process though. Like I ain't saying just like, well, be positive. I'm not saying that at all. Like, process the stuff. Like it's a process. That's what I'm saying. So I'm gonna stop rambling and I'm gonna get to your little your little messages. All right. So we had. I'm gonna read this little book thing first. Or sorry, I'm confused at the orientation here, so I'm probably gonna flip it. So you got this little book, and this is the Samhain Oracle by Alexis J. Cunningfolk. I know it ain't Halloween yet, but I get excited. So I'm just like pulling out the little decks. So let me find this little book. Sorry, I can't find it. Dang. Alright. Grimoire. Book of Shadows, Book of Night, Reveal Your Secrets by Candlelight. And the keywords are Book of Shadows, Magic, and Secrets, Journaling, Recording Your Thoughts, Mistakes, and Triumphs, Passing on Wisdom, A Record of Where You've Been, Sacred Relics. And the questions, what record and legacy are you leaving behind? Where do you keep your secrets? So yeah, that might be a little like one of these little passion activities you could do with yourself is like start a little journal or a little grimoire, creative little space to just explore your feelings and process this little hurt you've been through. So yeah, that's interesting. Then we have stillness. So maybe you need to just like have a little bit of stillness in your life right now. Just yeah, maybe, maybe right now you just need to breathe. I don't know. Yeah, so stillness is a little peace. It's a feeling I notice. A little boat on the river. I watch it float by without interrupting. Stillness is a soft wind in the spring. A teardrop in the morning running down my sleepy cheek. It's being here now, knowing that now is all that I have and being okay with it. So yeah, be in the moment. That's what I was saying. Like, the happiness is in the moment, man. It's not back there or in the future. Be happy now. It's a little Ram Dass thing, be here now or whatever. Alright, this is the last one. You got to walk the lonesome road. Let me read that one. It's number 1. Okay. Trying to do this before the battery dies. Okay. Foolish, they say, to walk this strange path. Loneliness will become your only companion, they say, as you take those first steps on the lonesome road to your own self. This is not adventure, no indulgence, no needless seeking. This is a pilgrimage of the soul, and the time you spend on the path you have chosen, which truly has chosen you. Oh, God, I'm sorry. Let me start over that sentence. Start that sentence over. This is a pilgrimage of the soul, and the time you spend on the path you have chosen, which truly has chosen you, may make you weary. And there could be doubt, and there will be moments where your only companion is the voice inside your head. And that is the point. For when you hear that voice clearly for almost the first time, listen, speak with it. See what you have been saying to yourself, and with each footstep, watch the words become more encouraging, loving, and filled with self-love. Yes, that kind of brings me back to this little envy card. It's like, and maybe how you might be judging yourself off of, oh my God, look at this. There is like an ant operation going on here. I'm so sorry, little bug, that you didn't survive, but that's weird. Sorry. I don't know what that is, but sorry. So yeah, you might be judging yourself based on other people's opinions or what you think you should have or how you should be. So don't be doing that. Like, listen to what you want and find out, like, what truly makes you happy. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Hopefully there was something in there for you. If not, like, try another pile or, find other YouTubers. Plenty of other people out there. But yeah, thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Love yous. Alright, pile 2. So for the spread, I'm going to do the lie, which is the lie that your inner critic is telling you right now. The truth, and then how to get from the lie to the truth, and then how to tame your inner critic, and then this is going to be a little message of encouragement, and then at the end I'm going to go through your little messages that were like the little theme that you picked at the beginning. So yeah. So for the lie, we have master and humiliation. So I feel like you might have, I don't know, you might have some like rampant thoughts right now. Like about maybe like a situation that you've been through, like maybe where you were humiliated. And now it's like you're feeling like you're unable to like master your thoughts around the situation. Like you might be having a lot of like obsessive, like, replaying the memories and like judging yourself, like keeping yourself stuck in whatever has happened. So yeah, like I don't know, you might be feeling trapped right now, honestly. Like in this feeling of humiliation, like you don't know how to move beyond it. Like you might have, I don't know, like with the truth here, with the 7 of Cups, or daydreams and decisions, which is traditionally the 7 of Cups, and rejection. I'm feeling like maybe you had like your heart set on something, like a specific like group of people or a situation, and then maybe it didn't play out the way that you thought. And so you're just kind of feeling a little defeated now, and like there's no way out. Like you don't know how to move beyond like how things went wrong. But with the truth here, it seems like maybe there are more opportunities available to you than you realize. Because I don't know, I just keep focusing on this like rejection card and how the person the person is like almost removing a piece of themselves. And I feel like rejection can kind of feel like that because it's like someone else is like, or something else, whatever. It almost feels like a denial of how you showed up, or I don't know how to explain it. It sort of can feel like a signal that like maybe you shouldn't have been a certain way, or maybe the way that you are is wrong, and like you're the one with the problem, you need to fix like whatever it is in order to be accepted, that kind of thing. But I'm feeling like with this little daydreams and decisions card, maybe the truth is like there's more options for you to be accepted. Like you don't have to settle for like a situation that makes you feel like you have to remove a part of yourself in order to be accepted. Like, does that make sense? So maybe your little inner critic is telling you like, well, like it might be focusing in on like with this humiliation and feeling like, well, dang, I should have been different. Like it's me, it was my problem. Like I was the reason like this didn't work out, like because there's just like this flaw in me. Like it's always my fault. Like, but really, it's not really. It wasn't really you. It's just like maybe you weren't in the position to be like received by the right people. Does that make sense? Like there's plenty, I don't know, like I don't know why I like that saying, plenty of fish in the sea or whatever, but I'm not like speaking like romantically specifically, but like that whole saying. And then like how people say like the right people won't care, like they'll accept you regardless. So maybe like you were just trying to fit yourself somewhere where you didn't not where you didn't belong, but just like in a place where you weren't really valued for who you are. Like maybe you just haven't found like your little people yet, your place, which isn't a reflection of like your like worth or value or anything. It's just like a matter of like where you fit. I don't know, like that sounds, it can seem like rejection when you don't feel like you fit somewhere, but that's not necessarily the case. It's just like you would fit somewhere else better, and maybe you just haven't found your little sweet spot yet. If that makes sense. Yeah, so I'm just getting like, instead of feeling trapped in this feeling of like humiliation and being ashamed of like who you are, maybe try to move toward like an understanding where you realize that maybe this thing or this situation, person, whatever, wasn't best suited for me because it requires me to reject a part of myself, and that doesn't help me. Like, that doesn't help, that only keeps me stuck, like, you know, trying to be something that I'm not. Because I feel like when we're not willing to accept ourselves based on what other people think, it's just not, like, it's just never gonna work. Like, you can't, I mean, you can bend yourself to be what you think someone else wants, but at the end of the day, like, would that be worth it, you know? Like, if you're not being, like, if you're not able to be, like, who you really are, then what's the point? Or, I mean, that's a personal opinion, I don't know, you might think differently, but I just feel like when we're able to be our authentic selves, that's where we, like, feel the most content, and where we don't have to feel this humiliation, because, like, I don't know, I feel like the reason that we feel humiliated in certain situations is because, like, we feel that we should be different than what we are, like this whole rejection thing. Like, we are rejecting ourselves based on, like, some ideal that we've created that we think that other people want us to be, when, like, really we don't even know. And they might have their own ideas about what's acceptable, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, like, their opinion is right. So, I mean, why should we try to bend to be what we think someone else wants us to be and, like, reject ourselves in the process? I don't agree with that. Excuse me. So, yeah. So, how to get from the lie to the truth. We got the throat chakra and presence. So, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, I'm just getting, like, speak up for yourself and don't be afraid of how people will receive it. Like, be there, like, with this presence, like, be present for yourself, like, regardless of who accepts you or not. Like, as long as you accept you, then you don't need nobody else to, because, like, you your own, like, little best friend all the time. Like, you with you 24/7. So, like, that relationship is, like, the top priority. Like, and once you accept you, like, this little humiliation and rejection won't apply anymore, because you won't feel like you have to, like, jump through hoops or, like, change who you are. Because, I mean, you're good with you, you know? You accept you. So you don't need nobody else to. So don't be afraid to, like, you know, speak a little truth. Be who you are. Like, communicate what you need. And if people aren't receptive to that, then it just means that you need to give yourself what you feel like you ain't getting from other people. Which, I mean, I know that's hard sometimes to realize and want to accept, because we are kind of, like, taught to look outside of ourselves for, like, validation and just, like, acceptance. But I think it's just, like, a practice of learning how to, like, be that for ourselves instead. because I think I was saying this in pile 1 too, like, it's not really guaranteed that other people will show up and, like, in the same way that, like, other people might expect us to be a certain way. Like, I think we kind of do that to other people too, where we're like, oh, they should have showed up in this way, and then when they don't, it's sort of like, well, dang, it was something. Yeah, like, I think it all, like, usually leads to blame. Like, we either blame ourselves or the other person, when really it's just like how we've learned to interact. Like, we just kind of place these expectations on everybody and ourselves instead of just, like, taking things as they are. Like, I don't know if I'm making sense, but I feel like a lot of issues come from just, like, not being present with what is, and just, like, you know, we just project a lot of things onto people and ourselves that we don't have to. It's just, like, become a habit, because we just all come up with these ways that we think, like, oh, this is acceptable and this is unacceptable. So then when those rules get broken, it's just kind of like, that's when, like, this little humiliation and rejection comes in, because we're like, well, dang, that wasn't what I thought. Like, you know, I don't know if I made any sense, but I feel like maybe, hopefully you got what I was trying to say. So yeah, for, like, taming your inner critic, we got release, which is like the death card, and protection. So I'm getting with that, like, pretty much just let go of anything that you feel can't accept you for who you are. And, like, if you can't accept you for who you are, then, like, work on releasing, or not, I don't know. I don't want to say, like, release the part of you, because you can't really, like, I don't think you can ever, like, remove a part of yourself. Like, that's not helpful to just, like, you know, disown parts of yourself, because that would be, like, doing the same thing that you feel like other people are doing to you. Like, you know, just not being able to accept. I think this is more so about, like, releasing, like, the ideas around needing to reject a part of yourself. Does that make sense? Oh my god. It's just like, don't feed into like outdated beliefs, like, about how you should be. Like, any kind of, like, shoulds, you don't need those. Like, just protect yourself in that way of, like, you know, understand that, like, yeah, we've all been wounded, like, and nobody else has to know, like, what you've gone through, because you know, and, like, you can protect yourself from people and situations that might not understand you, or that might not, you know, have the understanding that, like, we need to release, like, the little expectations we put on each other. Like, see beyond those. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just, like, thinking, like, instead of, like, removing the parts that we're ashamed of, sort of, like, embracing them and protecting them and seeing them for, like, what they are. Like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like, because usually, like, the things that we're ashamed of is, like, something, like, I feel like it's a need that wasn't met, like, when we were young or something. Like, if we're afraid of being, like, too needy or something, it's usually because, like, we didn't get what we needed. So, like, that can come off as, like, needy to other people, but, like, we know that it's not that we're needy. It's just, like, we wanted something that we weren't able to have. Like, so now we're just kind of, like, stuck in this little loop of, like, well, why wasn't I worth receiving that? So it can be hard to, like, not get stuck in the little story of, like, beating yourself up about, like, well, maybe I am just needy, and maybe it is, like, me who's the problem, but it's not your fault. Like, whatever thing that you feel like you didn't receive as, like, a kid or whatever, like, it wasn't I don't think it was personal. Like, I know that's hard to say, like, because I don't know, like, everybody's situation and, like, their parents and stuff, like, if their parents were involved. Like, it's just so many factors, but, like, I don't know. I just try in my own life to see people in, like, a similar light to myself. Like, I try not to beat myself up for things when I make mistakes, because I feel like I just did the best that I could with what I had, and I just try to keep that mindset with everybody. It's just like, well, maybe these people hurt me, but I mean, maybe somebody hurt them, and maybe they didn't learn how to treat people, so like, it's not like letting people off the hook for being like ugly people, but it's sort of just like letting yourself off the hook and not like taking it so personally, I guess. Excuse me. So, yeah. Just work on those little stories that you tell yourself and protect yourself, because like that part of you that you reject and you feel like everybody else rejects really needs, the attention. But you're the one who has to give it, because, I mean, only you understand it fully, if that makes sense. So yeah, your little message of encouragement is 6, simply love, which is the 6 of Cups in the tarot, and then contempt. So I feel like that goes back to what I was just saying, like this, I feel like this is saying like inner child, sort of like, instead of looking at it with like contempt and like, ugh, like you didn't deserve, like the reason you didn't get the love you wanted is because you didn't deserve it. Like, instead of thinking like in that way, like you did something wrong, like, I don't know, just try to like instead switch it and like give yourself the thing that you wanted that you couldn't get, like, and just switch how you see the situation. I mean, that doesn't change what happened, but like, I think our thoughts are really like a powerful way to shift things. Like, when you can't change what happened, you can at least change how you think about it, if that makes sense. And so, just like work on having a little bit more compassion for yourself and not beating yourself up for whatever thing has happened. Like, don't take it so hard on yourself. So yeah, a little heavier, but we're gonna move on to your little messages. So I'm gonna read this one first. You got the little candle. This is like a little Samhain Oracle by Alexis J. Cunningfolk. I know it ain't like Halloween yet, but it's getting close. So I just wanted to pull out this little deck. Alright, so you got, oh, that's cool. You got the death. You got death here, and then you got death right here. Alright, so it says, blessed be death, which preserves life. Sacred is necessity, which preserves us from strife. And the key words are death and dying, endings, loss, necessity, returning to the place of beginnings, the shared experience of all living things, the eldest sage. And the questions are, what is dying? What is gone or ending? What needs to be released? And what is your relationship to death? So yeah, that ties into it. Like, what kind of little views about yourself you need to be letting go? Like, maybe they just hurting you more than anything, keeping you stuck. And you got options, man. So yeah, then you have appreciation. Oh, so I'm gonna get it right in a minute. Appreciation. Let's read that one. Appreciation is a quiet joy when my heart beats softly and my hands tremble with the summer breeze. It's smelling roses and they smell good enough. Appreciation is seeing the value in the unseen. It's giving thanks before being given anything. Yeah, so I feel like that can be helpful, like when we are like struggling to feel like we're enough. We're always just focusing on like what we don't have and what we should be or need, like, what we need. Like, if I had this, I could be happy. But really, I mean, it's about shifting your focus to the little things. I said this in the other video too, but I was like, oh my god, like, look at this little spider lily. Like, that's like a little thing that I can show appreciation for. And like I can find a little joy in the little things. Like it don't gotta be so like heavy all the time. Look at the little sun shining through. Look at that. Like the sunshine, that's something to be grateful for as well. So yeah, just the little things, man. Alright. Oh my god! The littlest blessing. Look at this. Sorry, I just like burped a little bit. I don't know what was going on. Alright, so 18, the littlest blessing. Let's read that. Alright. There's a little good fortune right at your fingertips. It is sweet and small, but it is this blessing that will see your energy open up to receive even more of the same. Destiny wishes you to be content, to feel loved, and see the wonder in every small thing this day. Look about you, for right there in the smallest of places are the blessings you have been yearning for, yet missing. Open your new eyes to the world, and what once went unseen and unappreciated can be truly known for the very first time. Look with eyes of wonder at the little miracles of the world. When you do this, the gates to all good things swing open for you. Yeah, so I mean, that kind of ties in. Like, it's basically like a shift of focus. Like, yeah, you can focus on like the humiliation, all the feelings around like not feeling good enough and all that. Like, you can focus on that. Like, feel what you need to feel, but don't let that consume you and keep you stuck. Like, there's plenty of other things to like pay attention to. So yeah, I think just allow yourself to like find like joy in the little things. I know that's like cliche, but like it really is like powerful to shift your focus. Like, you know, even I know it can be like a pattern. I get stuck in this pattern too. I was just like focusing on like the worst case of everything. But we don't gotta stay stuck there. And it's just like a little daily practice, you know, shifting your focus to notice things other than all the pain. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there, and hopefully you got something out of that. I will return, and yeah, thanks for watching. Love yous. Alright, what's up, pile 3? So I'm gonna be doing the spread. This is gonna be the lie of your inner critic. It's gonna be the truth. This is how to get from the lie to the truth. This is gonna be how to tame your inner critic. And it's gonna be a little message of encouragement. And in the end, I'm gonna read you little theme cards that we had at the beginning when you chose your pile. So yeah, I'm gonna just get on into it. So for the lie that your inner critic is telling you, it seems like this is like a confidence issue. Like maybe you're feeling frustrated because you just feel like you're not good enough. And like you can't do whatever thing that you want to do. It's just like, I don't know, I'm just getting like, you're just irritated. Like, dang, like I'm so sick of this. Like I'm never good enough. I never have what I need. Like I'm doomed because it's just me. Like this is what I deserve. Like I don't deserve to feel happy or do anything differently. Like I'm just tired of me. Like that's what I'm getting from this. You're just sick and tired of it. You don't feel like things are possible because it's like stemming from like a belief, like a lack of belief in yourself. And then the truth is, like, maybe it's not that you're not good enough. It's just that you're facing an unknown right now. Like, it looks like there's like a new beginning available to you. Like, we're passionate, like something good. All these colors, man. Like, this is possibility, this is potential. But like, you're kind of afraid because it's something new, and it might be like challenging like your old belief system of not feeling good enough. But I mean, obviously, like, you made it to this new little chance you got opening up. I don't know what it is, but like something is available to you. Maybe you ain't seeing it clearly because you're frustrated and you're like, I just ain't good enough, I can't do it. But it's really like stemming from just like a fear of something different, I'm getting. But it's looking like something's looking up here if you can just like get out your own way here with this little frustration card, and maybe look at like what scares you about thinking differently about yourself. Like, what would be like the worst thing like if you did switch your perspective. Yeah, because I know it can be scary to like think about things like, I don't know. I feel like personally, like sometimes I get like a comfort out of failure because it's like what I know. So like the possibility of like success is like terrifying. Ugh, terrifying, like more so than like, the same old like comfort of believing, well, I'm just not good enough. It's just not gonna work out. It never does. Like that's just like the little sad comfort. But like, I mean, I really most of the time I want something to change, but it's just like it's a scary thing to change. So it's easier to be like afraid, I think sometimes. But like, just look in your case, like just look at like what is behind this little fear and the frustration. I'm feeling like it's something to do with your little self-confidence though. So yeah, how do we get from the truth or from the lie to the truth? And we got 8, helpless and hopeless and peace. So this is traditionally like the 8 of Cups in the tarot, which is about like walking away for like something better, like leaving behind the comfort zone, like going to new territory. Oh my god, I can't speak. So that you can like find fulfillment elsewhere. Like, you've kind of reached the point of like, you can't really grow anymore in this space. Like, it was good, it served its purpose, but now you gotta keep going, because if you stay, you're just gonna keep feeling like helpless and hopeless. I feel like that ties into this whole like self-confidence thing. Like, I feel like you're ready and you're frustrated because you're ready. Like, you're tired of this old belief like dragging you down. So I think you're ready to cross this little bridge to get into this new opportunity. But it's gonna take the courage to like walk away from your comfort zone. And I mean, with this little piece, I feel like that's where you're kind of heading. Like, if you can make peace with like yourself, like you have to look at things for how they are. Like, you gotta accept maybe where you have been like holding yourself back, which isn't always easy to do. But like, I think you have to acknowledge that without beating yourself up over it. Like, don't use it as another excuse not to move forward. Does that make sense? Because I know it's easy to just like look at all your flaws or all your perceived flaws and just like keep adding to the list and be like, well, I keep doing this to myself, like, and then just like stay in the spiral of like, oh, well, I'll never change. I'm just like always getting in my own way. So you gotta make peace with that. Like, it's alright. You can feel helpless and hopeless, but it's not like all you'll ever feel. So just take the time to make peace with whatever feelings of like fear and frustration you got to, come to terms with. But know that you gotta keep moving. You gotta keep moving. So yeah, how to tame your inner critic. We got throat chakra and appreciation. So I don't know, I'm getting this as like self-talk, like how you speak to yourself, like what you think about yourself. I know personally, I have a bad habit of doing like a little self-depreciating humor, and like it's funny, but at the same time it's not. And I have to remind myself, like, do I really want to treat myself this way? Like, is it really, am I really that bad? Like, do I have to keep doing this? No. Like, it's not helping anybody. I mean, yeah, it might like help me feel better about myself in a sick way of like not belittling. I don't know. I don't understand it. Like, but it does. But it's not really like, it's kind of just like a defense mechanism to like feel better about how bad I feel, if that makes sense. So maybe you do a similar thing where you like, you feel like you have to like rag on yourself to like cover up how bad you feel, But I don't think we gotta do that. We don't gotta do that no more. Like, we're not that bad. It's just how we've what we've subscribed to. We just got in the habit of not thinking the best of ourselves, so we gotta just gradually work on a little self-talk and learn to appreciate like things about ourselves that maybe we hadn't noticed before. like I think we just been zeroing in on like all the, I guess you say, negative traits. Like, I don't like to say negative to positive, but like, I mean, we do kind of quantify things and put them in little boxes to understand. So like, maybe we just focus on things that we perceive as negative about ourselves, when we could stand to flip the script and maybe like see those things with a new level of appreciation, or even just like see other things that maybe we haven't noticed about ourselves. So yeah, that's just what I'm getting. And then for your little encouragement, you got 12, observe and hope. So observe, that's the Hangman card in the tarot, which is basically about like a new perspective, like taking a little pause, just like surrendering to what is. So maybe like right now you need to look at this like frustration and recognize that there is a way out. Like, if you want to take it, if you want to move past this little feeling of like helplessness, like you can move beyond what you always know. But it takes like a choice to focus on like where you're going instead of like where you've been. But yeah, maybe right now you do need to be still, like just be in the feelings, because like I think we gotta make peace with like all the stuff that holds us back in order to move forward. Like, you can't just snap your fingers and be like, alright, I don't hate myself anymore, like I'm moving on. Like, it's not that easy. So like, take the time you need to process whatever whatever you need to process, and then I mean, have hope that like you'll get there. Like, you got the hope card, so things are looking up. You got the little Ace of Wands, like that's the Ace of Wands in the tarot. Like, it's looking good. Like, but do you see it though? And maybe you ain't ready to see it. It's alright. That's why we got the Hangman here, because you need to take a little minute to see things differently. Maybe like turn the situation on its head. Like, look at it from the opposite direction. Like, how does it look different? Like, look at yourself from like the opposite perspective. Like, I don't know if it helps. Like, think about how someone who cares about you, like, how do they see you? Like, how would, how could you tap into that, like that view of yourself, like an alternate view of yourself where you're not like not good enough and you're not hopeless and helpless and like just, yeah, that's what I'm getting for y'all. Just take the time to change your little perspective. Alright, so I was just making sure I had nothing else. Oh, I just want to make sure I wasn't saying like I never want it to be like I'm saying don't feel how you're feeling, like just basically reject the part of you that feels not good enough. Like, I'm not saying that. Sorry, there's a train. I'm gonna give it a minute. Yeah, I'm not saying that. Because I feel like self-acceptance is like accepting all of you and not just like the parts that you deem acceptable. Because a lot of like how we feel about ourselves is shaped by like, the little narratives that get circulated about what is right and wrong, and that's not necessarily true. It's just what's like the most common, if that makes sense. So yeah, look at what makes you special and not what you think, like not how you think you should be. But anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. But oh my god, like on that note, like with the Hangman, I mean, he's sort of like in the traditional tarot. It's like a guy hanging upside down, and he's just kind of looking at life the opposite of everybody else. So like, you might be accustomed to seeing yourself the way that you feel like society wants you to be, but like right now maybe you're supposed to step into like this new beginning where you see things like not against, but like, you know what I'm saying? Just an alternate view. Like, it might not line up with everybody else, and it's alright. Like, you don't have to be like anybody else. So I'm gonna just leave it there because I feel like I'm just like convoluting the message. So yeah, let's read. We got this little skull here from the Samhain Oracle by Alexis J. Cunningfolk. I know it ain't Halloween yet, but I'ma still get excited. But yeah, okay, you got the skull. It says, I smile at the skull and the skull smiles at me. Blessed be the gift of change and what may come to be. The keywords are what lies beneath, commonality and connections, the seat of consciousness, transformation and change, the temporary nature of life. The question is, what lies beneath what you present to the world? Yes, I feel like that's saying like there's more to you than like maybe you allowing yourself to see or what you allowing other people to see. Like there's more depth to you when you awesome, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. So yeah, then we got absence. Oh. I'm gonna read that. Okay. Absence is when I refuse to be in the body. When heart and mind become strangers, when the soul escapes because it is no longer safe to inhabit the wounded vessel. Absence is when the earth vanishes into the night. Absence is a moonless sky. It's the light that hits me long after the stars cease to glow. It's the empty belly, the missing face in the photo. Yeah, so this is, I don't know, I'm getting this saying like maybe you have like completely disconnected from the true you, and you gotta get back to that. Like this whole like I ain't good enough and all that ain't you. That's just like this little concept you've created to make you feel better about like something that's happened. Like you just thought you needed to be a certain way, and then it was just based on something that hurt you, and it's not the truth, man. Like it's not. You know, you don't have to be whatever you thought you needed to be. It wasn't personal. Like, it's just, you know, and you did your best, so don't be beating yourself up, but, like, it's time to come back to you. You don't gotta stay in that hurt place no more. Like, it's safe to come back, okay? Alright, so then we got 35, the consolation of isolation. Okay. Seclusion can feed the spirit, and with that nourishment comes a rebirth. So many people and beings take themselves away from society and people, from the chatter and the gatherings and the beautiful noise that is our collective. The sense of being separate for a time is nothing to fear, for you are separate, you are unique, you are experiencing the multiplicity through the oneness of your being. Being alone can heal us and bring us back from the dark place that is loneliness, a state we can experience even when amongst others. The comforting and healing qualities of solitude are yours, and these arrive spontaneously, unscheduled, without artifice. Your spirit desires you to breathe light right through your entire being until you shine with the radiance that is your soul. Yes, I mean, that's just coming back to you, like I said. Like, you ain't that bad. Like, learn to see yourself in a new light, you know? What's beneath the surface? What are you missing about yourself? Like, you got so much, like, potential here. But are you seeing it? Anywho, I'm gonna end it there. Hopefully there was something in there for you. If not, like, you can pick another pile or pick another reader, you know, do your thing. It's alright, take it or leave it. But yeah, if you like this kind of video, just let me know. And I'll try to do some more at some point. But yeah, thanks for listening, and I'll be back eventually. See you.